Imagine having a remote control for human behavior, a way to guide a boss's approval, steer a friend's decision, or prompt a stranger to comply with your wishes on command. We move through the world assuming we are the sole authors of our choices, weighing options and making deliberate moves. However, that sense of total autonomy is an illusion. The human brain functions on predictable biological rules, shortcuts designed to save mental energy. These algorithms are reliable, and because they are reliable, they can be bypassed by anyone who knows the entry points. Dark psychology is the calculated weaponization of these mental shortcuts. It uses specific environmental triggers to quietly limit choices, hijack emotional centers, and distort a person's perception of what is real. Understanding these exploits reveals the invisible forces attempting to steer your behavior, providing the necessary awareness to recognize when your free will is being managed by someone else. A direct request for a major favor often triggers an immediate defensive no. This happens because a sudden demand feels like a threat to the target's autonomy, causing their brain to lock down. Trick 5, the illusion of choice, engineers the parameters of a request. You ask, Pizza Hut or Domino's? While evaluating options, the brain forgets it never agreed to leave the house. The target feels in control, though the outcome was dictated. For larger objectives, manipulators use the yes ladder to dismantle resistance. This involves securing a sequence of micro-agreements to build psychological momentum. To get a promotion, you might first ask to sit in on a high-level meeting or take on one small extra responsibility. After a boss says yes to these minor tasks, their brain finds it difficult to break the pattern of agreement when you finally ask for the promotion. By quietly engineering the sequence of choices, the manipulator ensures the target reaches a predetermined conclusion without ever realizing they were being guided. Humans are not primarily logical creatures. Our reasoning centers are easily overwhelmed when intense emotional states are triggered, allowing feelings to dictate our actions. The guilt trap uses this vulnerability by artificially manufacturing emotional distress to force a target into compliance. If you need to borrow a friend's car, you might lead with a sharp reminder of a past favor, like when you lent them money. By framing your current request against a previous debt, you make a refusal feel like a betrayal of the social contract. This tactic turns a past act of kindness into an emotional hostage situation. It weaponizes the human drive to reciprocate, making it easier for the target to give in than to sit with the discomfort of ingratitude. Beyond choices and emotions, the most aggressive manipulation tactics target the way the brain stores and processes reality itself. Human memory functions like a suggestible, rewritable hard drive, rather than a permanent video record. Every time we recall a fact, that memory node is briefly opened and can be edited by new information. When a claim is repeated often enough with total confidence, the brain eventually forgets the source of the information and remembers only the claim itself. This phenomenon is called the illusory truth effect. This is why figures in power often repeat fabricated statistics, like claiming a specific number of jobs created or a precise percentage of economic growth. By the time you've heard a false statistic 10 times from an authoritative source, your brain's internal fact-checking mechanism is exhausted. The lie is eventually integrated into your mind as a true historical fact. Sometimes the most effective way to hack reality is to remove information entirely. The human brain is hardwired to experience intense anxiety during awkward silences. If you suspect someone is hiding something, avoid asking questions. Simply look them in the eye, say, "I know the truth," and stay silent. The target's own brain will fill that silence with panic, causing them to self-doubt and over-explain until they confess. By managing the flow of data and the tension of silence, a manipulator dictates the target's very perception of the world. Once you recognize these patterns, the invisible psychological strings governing your daily interactions become visible. You start to see the mechanics behind office politics and persuasive sales pitches. These biological exploits are neutral mechanisms of the human mind, but they become dangerous tools when used covertly to strip away your agency. Mastering dark psychology provides a defensive shield, allowing for the real-time detection of tactics like the yes ladder or the planting of false memories. The most effective defense is to speak less and observe more. To continue mastering your psychological defenses and join the Core Mind community, subscribe now. We may never meet again.